Guys, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to wear a Marxist Burka. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to cover my face to appease our totalitarian government, our right-suppressing, unequal weights government that is trying to impose, dehumanize, emasculate us. I'm not doing it. And neither should you, and neither should your business. Welcome to How to Build a Tent. My name is Matt Williams. Thank you for listening to the show, sharing the show. I appreciate all of you guys. You've been loyal and faithful, and I just consider you all a joy and a blessing, and I love hearing from you guys. I appreciate it. We're part of the Fight, Laugh, Feast Network. Go over to flfnetwork.com, put an HTBT in the memo field. You'll get a sweet mug like you can see behind me. You can pick up some other great stuff. There's tons of great benefits. Go over there. You know, what's happening in Washington, the anarchists, the shootings of the children in Chicago, the rioters and the demonstrators not having to wear face masks, not imposing on them the law that they're breaking. But yet at the same time, we are upholding all forms of abortion, all forms of lawlessness, murder, and bloodshed, all forms of totalitarianism, of their right infringing moves of people that are respectful of the law, of people like you and me. Apparently, because there is this relapse of the virus, even though the death rate has plunged 80%, the survival rate of the coronavirus is 99.87%. It's less than 1%. It's less than 0.5% death rate now. But because the media and other people have an agenda, the government, they either have an agenda to take away our rights, or they don't want to look like they're doing nothing. They want to put up a facade. They're overreaching, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not wearing the Marxist Burka. I'm not wearing the face mask. I'm not going to do it. Do you see how many rights the people in countries that wear burqas have? Do you see what this leads to? I'm not going to do it, and neither should your business. If you have a business, I highly encourage you to not obey this order, to not obey the executive orders going around telling people these stupid rules, like you have to wear a face mask to your table, but once you're at your table, you can take it off. And then when you walk from the table to the bathroom, when you have to go to the bathroom, you got to wear it again. But once you get to the bathroom, you can take it off. And then you can walk back to your table with it on, but then you could take it off. These rules are not based in science. They're not based in logic, and they're taking away our freedoms inch by inch. We can't let them do this. Yes, the government has authority to quarantine the sick. We have a biblical foundation for that. They don't have a biblical foundation to quarantine all of us. They don't have a biblical foundation to regulate our worship. They don't have a biblical regulation, or they don't have a foundation to regulate how many people can come and worship before the Lord. They don't have a foundation to tell us how we can walk around in public and what we should wear and not wear as far as face coverings. I'm not going to do it, and neither should you. I just want to read this old document of yours and mine and see how it makes you feel. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. And I think we need to start listing them out. You are sanctioning the slaughter of children. You are enforcing unequal weights and measures. You are applying justice to one group of people and not to another. You are overreaching your authority government in places that you have no authority to go. You have no right to come into my church. You have no right to come into my family. You have no right to come into my business. And you have no right to come to me in the public square and tell me what I can and can't wear. You have no right. And guys, if we don't start standing up and stop being that silent majority that everyone loves talking about, the silent majority is stronger than ever. The silent majority is out there to help us. It's riling the base and they're not going to take this anymore. If we don't stop being silent and complicit, then we're going to lose everything, guys. What more do you want? If we don't start fighting like the Marxists are fighting to destroy us, if we don't start fighting to preserve our rights, to preserve our human dignity, to preserve life in the womb, if we don't start fighting back, and of course, in the biblical context, in the way that is honoring to God, if we don't start standing up and saying no, even though we may fear the tickets and the jail time and the whatever, just like the women in the Middle East fear getting beaten, getting honor killings and all that stuff. They have it much worse, quite honestly. But if we don't take a stand now, it's never going to stop. The government never pulls back his arm. The people must remove it. The powers of earth, the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. This is the Declaration of Independence. England wasn't killing the colonist babies. England wasn't telling them to wear face masks. They had separate issues, but I would argue ours are far worse in a lot of respects. And not that all of our avenues have been exhausted yet. We still vote for terrible people. We still need men to rise up and run for office, godly men. We need to pray for them. We need to uphold them as businesses, as successful people. We need to donate to them. We need to disciple them. We need repentance and we need spiritual leaders to lead us in that as a nation. Let's continue this document. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Let me tell you, do you feel like life is protected? When the police forces are being disbanded, when people are calling in 911, when this woman has her daughter in the car, the rioters are on top, and the police said they're not going to do anything because the city told them not to. When you have these anarchist states in the middle of Washington, do you feel like life is protected? When you have the Supreme Court, those black robe tyrants, overthrow Oklahoma law saying that the abortion clinics must have the same health standards as the rest of the medical community in Oklahoma, that's an undue burden and they can have unrestricted abortion, that is protecting of law? Is that guaranteeing us life? Is that protecting life? Liberty. Do you feel like you're free? Do you feel like you have liberty? And the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Do you feel like you're giving them consent? Do you feel like they're representing you? Do you feel like it is your choice to wear a mask wherever you go? Or are they doing this by fiat on their own without representation? Businesses and individuals, you must stand up. I was saying that, what was I saying this about? There's so many abuses going on. There's a train of abuses, as they say in these documents. What was it about? Oh, it was about the Supreme Court. That the governors, the lawmakers have a moral, they have a responsibility, and all elected officials to not disregard these tyrannical rulings by the Supreme Court. They should not be honored. They are not lawmakers, and they should not be treated as such. We should disavow any opinion that comes out of the Supreme Court that does not abide by the rule of law. We are not a lawless nation. We were not founded on lawless principles. And we as Christians represent and embody the foundation that this country was found on. And if we don't fight for it, if we don't make a stand, if we don't draw a distinction, if we don't use a plumb line to discern and to stand up and proclaim to the world what is right and what is not, then what are we doing? What are we doing? And just as our politicians and our governors and those in authority have the moral responsibility to not listen, not submit to these opinions by the Supreme Court, so too we as citizens and as businesses, as private enterprises, we have the right and the obligation and the authority to not submit to these burkas, to these Marxist burkas. We're not going to wear these masks anymore. We have to make a stand. If they could protest in thousands and hundreds of thousands in the streets without masks, then we could go to the freaking restaurant and have a burger without a mask on. We can walk to our booth without a mask on. We can get our haircut without a mask on. We can go to the park. We can do whatever we want because we were founded on Judeo-Christian principles that ensured us life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And more importantly, God never gave the government authority to do these things. We need to read this document over and over again, guys. We need to read the Bible mostly, and we need to read documents like this. Because we live in two Americas. It hasn't been lately. We've been lived in two Americas for a very long time. You know, the running joke that the Clintons get away with everything. They get away with murder. They get away with whatever they want because there's two trains of justice. The media has two different tiers of justice. Every politician has two different tiers of justice. The liberals, the left, the Democrats have a different tier of justice than we do. The censorship on social media has two different tiers of justice that is going on. And we can't just Romans 13 it, guys. We can't do that. We're burying our treasure in the ground, and we're using the Bible verses to make us feel good about it because we're scared and because we're cowardly. And I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not wearing the mask. I'm not putting it on. And you better do the same, or we're not going to have any trace of freedom. We're not going to have any resemblance of the country that we grew up with as a kid. And our children, think about our children. What are they going to live in? How are they going to grow up? And what country are they going to grow up in? Are they going to be growing up in a country that is more Christ focused, that is more foundationally based on biblical principles, or farther down the Marxist totalitarian strong government arm that is imposing its will on us continually day on day, that is upholding lawlessness, upholding evil, upholding abominations, and discouraging and quenching the righteousness? Which America are they going to live in? And what we do today is going to determine that. Don't wear the Marxist burka. Don't wear a mask anymore. You, as a government, have no authority to do that to us. We got to start fighting. We'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless.